Welcome one and all. This is the walkthrough for the Dirty Cow exploit, and the machine I have chosen for this is Valentine from Hack the Box. So as you guys can see here, I'm connected to Valentine as a user called Hype. So the initial foothold is complete, and I'm able to connect as a less privileged user called Hype. So now the idea would be to elevate ourselves as the root, and for that we will use the Dirty Cow exploit. Now the Dirty Cow exploit is a kernel-based exploit which we can use for Linux privilege escalation. The only caveat with using kernel-based exploits is that it is unstable and can cause system crashes. So the dirty cow exploit can be used as a last resort if there are no other methods of privilege escalation available on that victim machine. So now on this machine Valentine, I'll be making use of dirty cow exploit. So let us begin. Visit your favorite browser and then type in dirty cow exploit GitHub. So there are many links appearing here, and here we have the official Dirty Cow repository where we have a lot of modifications of Dirty Cow. But I'm interested in the one which is modified by a gentleman called Christian, or aka Firefart. So just clicking on that, and here we have the C code for it. So going through the description here a bit. So we can see that it uses Pokemon exploit of the Dirty Cow vulnerability, and it generates a new passwd line in the etc folder, in the etc passwd file. And the user, that is me, attacker, will be prompted for the new password when the binary is run. So it will also back up the original passwd file, which has the list of all the users into this folder. Okay, now, so the exploit, what it is doing here is basically it is overwriting the root with this new user called Firefart, and we'll be setting a new password for it as well. So this is basically the description here, and we can see that the running the code is also very simple. We just have to compile it and then execute it. So now I'm going to my terminal, and what I can do is I can just do a git clone and I can get the folder. So I have already done that. So now I'll be copying into this folder called Valentine from my OPT folder. Okay, so now it is copied and it is ready to be sent into the victim machine where I have the initial foothold. Okay, cool. Now to do that, what I'll be doing is I'll be spawning a simple HTTP server. So let us do that so that I can pass the code there. Simple HTTP server, and I'll be using port, let's say 083 for that. So now it is open. Okay. Now, so usually what I do is, so now it's open. So usually what I do is I like to dump all my files from my attack machine to the victim machine in the temp folder, because usually that is the folder where we'll have both the read and write access. So now I'm moving myself into that folder. Okay. If I just do an ls here, we can see that I have already moved a tool called Linux exploit suggester just to check before passing dirty cow whether this machine is vulnerable to that exploit or not. So Linux exploit suggester is basically a privilege escalation tool in Linux where it will suggest available exploits after running on the victim machine. So now, so let us quickly run this and then we will see if dirty cow is a possible exploit here. So there are a lot of exploits which can be leveraged here, but if we go to the top, we'll see that it is in fact vulnerable to the dirty cow exploit. Okay, since since it is confirmed now, let us move dirty cow from my attack machine to my victim machine, and let us see. So I'm just using the basic wget command. to get it here. We can see that the C code of dirty cow is copied here. Now it's time to compile it. So let us now go to the GitHub page and we can try compiling it now. So the compiling is complete, and if we just do an lsla, we can see that the executable is ready, and here it is. So now we can try executing it and hopefully we can get root. Okay, so now we can see that so the passwd is successfully backed up, and it's also asking me to enter a new password. So I'll just do that, and we can see that a new user has been created called firefart and has been given the root privileges. Okay, so now that is complete. So now, yeah, so I'm lowering my privileges again to hype, and now let us try switching into this new user, also the root. So we can see that we are now firefart, aka the root itself. We can just confirm that by trying to visit the root folder, and if we just do an ls, we have the root.txt. So thus we use the dirty cow exploit to elevate ourselves to become the root, and I thank you guys for following up this tutorial. Hopefully it was useful. Until next time.